Thanks, Tom. Yeah, I'm actually a little bit intimidated because I'm a little bit out of my comfort zone. I feel a bit of a tourist in AI. Sorry, just something I'm seeing. Anyway, so this is me. And as Tom said, I've worked with him on a few projects. We worked on a Lego project. Do you remember that one, Tom?
I do, of course. Yeah.
Did you know it went live?
Oh, they stole it.
Yeah. So Lego liked it so much they stole it. I've worked on mind-bending pieces of music that change the sort of sensory experience when you eat chocolate. Blah 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 blah. This is not to toot my own horn, just to sort of make sure that you know that I'm not talking absolute bollocks. But I am a complete nerd, a complete geek. Obviously, we can live without the stigma these days. We can live open lives. And as a geek, see, there you go.
Sorry, I'm a geek.
So, fellow geek, notice the geeky reference. As a geek, I've been dreaming about now since I was a little boy. I've been dreaming about AI, computers, and flying cars, and all this stuff, and we are on the cusp. So I can't wait to get started. We'll get into that. So I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I went to CogX, not really knowing what I was letting myself in for. So it's a big artificial intelligence conference. You guys probably know of it. Actually met Tom there, saw him, had a nice cup of coffee, and he put it in a nice way that half the speeches there, the presentations, were sort of GCSE level. So they were like, blockchain this and decentralized ledger over there. They didn't bother to explain it. The other half were PhD level, and I didn't understand what the hell was going on. So what I've tried to do is compile a bit of a journey through CogX, trying to understand what it was all about, probably make a few mistakes along the way. If you see any mistakes, do shout out and call me out on it, because it's the only way I'll learn. So yeah, this is going to be a bit of a Ladybird book journey. This is not going to be anything PhD level, it's not even GCSE level, but hopefully it's going to be a bit fun. So at CogX, fucking hell, there was some amazing stuff there. You know, there were these robots, there was talks about how AI is going to help the infrastructure in driverless car cities, and all sorts of amazing stuff. And it was pretty mind-blowing. But one question I kept hearing from people in the audience is, will I be replaced by AI? Speak up, please. Will I be replaced by AI? And there was no easy answer. I guess the easy answer is yes or no. But I thought, from a creative point of view, probably a more apt question would be, can you teach AI to be a creative? Because I'm a creative, so that's what I sort of care about. Is this AI going to come looking for my job eventually? But I'm not a creative technologist. I don't have a magic crystal ball. I can't really see into the future. All I can sort of do is look at what is happening right now. And what I see right now from AI creative campaigns is the fact that they're not really AI creative campaigns. They're brilliant campaigns. They sort of use AI a little bit, but they're not the amazing future from Star Trek and Star Wars that I wanted, where AI does all of it. They sort of do a little bit. There's still a lot of editors, producers, creators, designers that go into creating a really great AI creative campaign. So we're still a little bit far away from my vision. I mean, to be fair, did you guys see one of the guys from Google last week announced his flying car? So tick. Most people walk around like a dickhead, not looking where they're going already, so that's a tick. So, you know, we're starting to tick off a lot of this stuff, which is pretty exciting. But AI at the moment, the way I see it, the way a lot of people see it, is it's a really great toolkit. It's a toolkit at creatives' disposal to create all manner of things and to really sort of bring their creative ideas to life. But it's not the idea. Messed up my formatting. Anyway, this is my mate Bob. I did invite Bob along, but Bob couldn't make it. It's a real shame. He had other stuff going on, more important. Anyway, I've worked with Bob on a couple of campaigns. I worked with him on a Google campaign, something for Lenovo. So we go way back. And I sort of started chatting to Bob, and I wanted to get a bit of background and see, his point of view. I said to him, "Can you use AI, Bob?" And he stopped. He thought about it. He looked at me. And he said, "Can you use AI?" I said, "Well, no, can you?" "No, can you?" That's not the point. And to be fair, Bob did a really good job, because I don't know if you noticed, Bob's a parrot. So Bob took all the knowledge that he had, he took all the information at his disposal, and he gave me his spin on the question, in his voice, but from a parrot. And that's the way I sort of see AI at the moment. You give AI a set of instructions and a set of criteria, and you teach it things, and it sort of gives you what you expect back. And that is a bit boring. So you can simulate creative based on previous creative, which for most things is fine, I get what I wanted, but where's the new, where's the exciting, where's the dangerous, where's the edgy, where's the cool stuff that I got into this industry for? This is where we're at. We're at brown Volvo stage. Pretty much the most boring thing I can think of. Where's the city of the future? Where's the amazing stuff? And there's a bit of a problem. Now, you've got, these are campaigns. I'm going to teach AI about these campaigns. Great. And AI is then going to, bad formatting, AI is then going to create more campaigns. But this is based on aggregated data. I fucking hate aggregated data, because Facebook will say, "Oh, I've got to make such and such video 8 seconds long." Why? Because we looked at thousands of videos, millions of videos, and we know what people's drop-off rates are. Yeah, but you haven't seen my videos. My content's fucking great. People watch it to the end. So you sort of bring that into the equation, and AI is just going to replicate it. And they're going to say, make it shorter, land the brand quicker. Oh, fuck, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. This is one of mine. I remember the brief quite well. I wanted to do something really fancy, really exciting, and they said, no, we need it shorter, we need it quicker, we need to land the brand quicker. The problem is, I did that, and so did everybody else. Because Skoda, Audi, Ford, they all had the same brief. They all had the same media plan, the same budget, the same constraints. And genuinely, I haven't made these, I found these, they're all the same. It's Volvo, it's brown, it's beige, it's really boring. And eventually, I can see where if unstopped, AI learning is going to go, creative, I don't make a lot of charts. Don't know if it makes sense. But you can see, quite clearly, we're heading to Volvo. We have to stop this. And this is where I get onto the missing piece of the puzzle. So what is it currently that AI doesn't have that we need? And it's a board game from the 1950s. It's risk. AI doesn't acknowledge risk. AI doesn't embrace risk. Creatives do. We embrace it, we use it, we leverage it. But I guess the last thing you want from AI, especially in a driverless vehicle, is to be driving along and for the driverless vehicle to think, yeah, I can make it. I'm going to go for it. Yeah. AI is risk averse, I get it. But a creative AI can't. You have to embrace it. Now, you guys are all familiar with this one? Yeah? The next Rembrandt. I fucking love this. I love this so much. I'm not going to bore you with the case study because I'm sure you guys have all seen it before. I haven't put much creative in here because Tom said you guys have probably seen it all before. So, next Rembrandt, obviously it used all the information from all 600 of Rembrandt's paintings to identify all the traits, all the nuances, all the technical style to create that. A brand new Rembrandt. I remember everyone saying, oh my God, AI creative, it's here, it's here. It's not. It's a really great campaign. I love this campaign to bits, it's one of my favorites, but it's a great example of an AI creative tool. all the exciting stuff, all of the breathtaking creative story was done by people. People like us, people like you, planners, designers, technologists, so many people, countless people to bring this to life. It doesn't detract anything from it, the story that it's creating, but this certainly isn't AI like Star Trek, or whatever the hell was at the beginning. I know it's Star Trek. So yeah, it wasn't, I think Rembrandt was also quite an easy choice. I mean, obviously, they had a select number of paintings within the museum to choose to replicate, but as you can see, Rembrandt, he was prolific. He created 600 or so works of art, and a lot of them are sort of the same, which makes replicating it a bit easier. Not easy in the slightest. But I'm going to introduce my next guest. Again, unfortunately, I couldn't make it. Apparently, he said he's been dead for about 40 years. Does anybody know who painted this, who my special guest is? Anyone at all? Anybody want to hazard a guess? No? No. Guys, do you not know the classic dead man in a bed being overlooked by his child? It was Picasso! This was painted by Picasso in about 1901. And he followed it up in 1903 with What I'm Having for Breakfast. It was lovely. So then in 1907, obviously the world was really anticipating what his follow-up, he's going to round his trilogy off with. So, big event. There he was, big crowd, he unveiled it, he shit the bed. He created something that everyone hated, no one understood. He created this African-inspired art piece that didn't work. And this got me thinking about, what if Picasso had access to or had used data? Now, everyone around him, all the media outlets at the time, don't know who they would be, they said it was rubbish. So if he took all that on board and didn't embrace risk, I can't remember what the next slide is, it's him. He was really selfish. He was completely over-opinionated. He was a massive risk taker. He was a perfect creative. And I think this embodies, whether they want to admit it or not, most creatives. We're all really selfish because we just want to make great work that works. We're all overly opinionated because we have to, it's our job. And I'd like to say, to some degree, we're all risk takers. So, the question that we started with all the way back was, will I be replaced by AI? And not really. Not anytime soon, at least. Not for 30, 40, 50 years. But what happens when, no spoilers in case you haven't seen it, season finale, what happens when we finally do realise this dream of mine that AI can do all this singing, all this dancing? Where did this just sit? I think diversity will allow AI to integrate into a creative department perfectly. Because there's a big push, a rightful push these days for diversity. And it's the lifeblood of the creative industry. Without diversity, without a bigger pool of reference and sort of imagination, we're gonna be vulnerable. I mean, arguably we are. We're producing the same stuff for the same people time and time again. So it's all about diversity. And I think AI sits there. AI creative directors. A lot of people want to jump straight here. They think AI, right, I want to bring AI in, and I want it to just do the work for me, I want it to be perfect, that's the dream, right? We'll see. McCann Japan, I forget the guy's name, should have written it down. They created AICD. Don't know if you guys saw this might be old news. It's only about 2 weeks old. And they created this, and it was one of the lead planners over there. And he wanted to create the AI genome project. And he said, right, I want to create a bot, a creative director bot, that can compete with the creative team. And Mondelez said, yeah, buy into that. So they pitted their creative director against the AI CD. And they said, right, we're going to give you all of it. We're going to break down, oh, sorry, going back. I've rehearsed this one. So they broke down the last 10 years of amazing ads out of Japan, all the award-winning stuff. They broke it down, they tagged it, they tried to identify why it works. Then Mondelez got involved. Then they said, right, let's put it to the test. You write a script, you write a script based on the client's 10-point wish list. So hopefully you guys haven't played this game yet. We're going to play a game of human or AI. So this is the first ad. If you could press play, hopefully you've got the volume.
Yeah.
Volume is important for this one. It's just growing. Can't click to the next one, but if we click to the next one, then was this human or AI? So, big question. So, who thought that film 1, hands up, was AI? So, who thought that film 2 was AI? Sorry, magic dog by AI. Wicked, right? See, if this is the future of AI, I am all in. I laughed out loud when I saw this this morning. So I thought it's a really interesting case study. They actually launched a competition on Facebook first. They put both films out and they said, which one do you think was done by which? And the audience actually guessed it right. So then I can move on to the next point. My final point really is that even as amazing as that was, if we bring AI into the workplace, what's the rush for it to be a creative? Why don't we bring in junior AI creative instead? Because a typical junior creative spends like 2 years at college, 3 years at uni, maybe you do an MA, then you do a couple of years placement. So by the time you have it all up, you've got about 8 years before they're ready, sort of ready to take their first job. Why can't we add AI into the mix? So an AI junior creative would be perfect in a diverse pool because it draws inspiration from places that we don't. So when we're talking about diversity and we're talking about where we get our information and our ideas from, I think this is the perfect place, obviously, incredible. So will I be replaced here by AI? And again, reshaping the question is, will I mentor AI? Will we accept AI into the workplace so much that we actually start to mentor them, like in the creative industries? These are my personal thoughts. They are full of holes. I'm sure there are a few things that are completely wrong. But if there's anything you want to ask or anything you want to call out and say, no! Thank you very much. Woo!